Hey, this is your girl, Michelle Diva. I'm bringing you another episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 6, Episode 10, Higher Hair, Closer to God. Okay. If you are new here, welcome. We do reviews here, and it's the Diva Nation, okay? And if you're returning, welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. This is your crazy cousin, okay? Give me a thumbs up, like and share, and comment and subscribe to my channel, and we will begin, okay? So Heather and Whitney are throwing a little potluck get together for Bronwyn, Britni, because you know she got reamed by Meredith and Lisa the whole plane ride, okay? So they throwing her a surprise potluck. But apparently Whitney opened some broccoli and the whole place stank like all outdoors. It smelled like a little fart. It smelled like fart. Okay. Okay, so Heather was like, take that out, and throw it in the trash. And she said, yeah, I did. And so everybody comes in. Angie was like, let's create this high body count hair that I told her that she had. Okay, so everybody is doing the little high body count here, except for Mary, okay? Mary was like, you are not gonna touch my human hair wig with all that hairspray and tear my human hair wig up. No, thank you. No, ma'am. Pam. Okay. And then, of course, Angie gonna say, well, at least all this hairspray is covering up that broccoli fart. I was like, but then they gonna pan to Mary, like, and I don't think that was Mary's reaction. I don't really think that's Mary's reaction because I don't think she care about it anymore. She could, but I don't think that was Mary's reaction. I think they just got that reaction from Mary, and then they edited it to that statement. But I don't think that was Mary's reaction. But it could be. I don't know, but I don't think she care anymore. They done got over it and everything like that. So I don't think every time she say fart, I don't think that Mary is just, like, why you saying fart? I don't think she like that, but she could be. I don't know. Britni walks in, they yell surprise. They're gonna build bears for Whitney because Brown went through her Jared unicorn in the ocean. So they're gonna make a little everybody gonna make her a little bear and put a little words in it, Britni, you're a superstar. Britni, we love you, Britni, da. Except for Mary. Okay, Mary had nothing in hers, okay? Absolutely nothing. It was crickets, okay? Matter of fact, it wasn't crickets. It was kind of like, back in the day when, they had that little DSL sound. It was just like, yeah, DSL when it had to load up and stuff like that. The young people don't know what the dial up sound was. That's what it sounded like. It sounded like it sounded like static on the TV and stuff. The fax machine. Remember the fax machine had that little sound too. Yeah. But anyway, Mary had nothing in her bear, okay? And because apparently they of course, didn't show this clip on the boat. But when they were on the boat, Mary told Britni, after she told Meredith about the TikTok with her husband. Mary said, Britni, you're not cool. You are not cute. And so then Britni tells Mary, you are the least Christ person I have ever met.
Stop it. Get some help. What the hell? Oh my God, no way.
Okay. You are the least Christ person I have ever met. Boo. Boo. Okay. So, in the confessional, Mary was like, listen, I don't like Britni. She said, but what that's the reason why she's there. Because what Meredith did is not okay. It's not okay with her. So she is supporting Britni because what Meredith done to her as far as harassing her on this plane for 15 hours for however long it went on. Okay. She is not okay with that because, she had to leave. They had to carry her off the plane and, so because she was crying and stuff like that. So she is not okay with that, but she still don't like her. Okay. And she made that known why she let get the bear that said the DSL had the DSL sound. She had this right here. She had that. She had that for her. She had that for her. Okay, so anyway, Bronwyn was like, well, listen, Meredith reached out to me, and Meredith.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
This is what she said. Meredith said, I don't know what they're talking about. She never spoke to, she said she never spoke directly to Britni. She said she had a calm conversation with Britni. And she was like, she said, she still don't know what she's talking about because she had headphones on. Well, Britni had headphones on. Well, apparently she still could have, she still heard you because she was crying. Because it's your word against about four, 5 other folks on the plane. Okay, I really wish they got this footage, and I hope they show this footage later. I really wish they had this footage. Okay, at least a cell phone video or something. I really need to see this footage. So Heather said, Heather said, well, Lisa definitely not going to be responsible for anything. She said, it might take all of us to say, it may take all of us to say that, that's not what happened, I still don't think they're gonna cave. Lisa and Meredith say one thing and everybody else say the other thing. It's gonna, as far as I'm concerned, it's gonna take footage. It's gonna take footage for everybody to see, for Lisa and Meredith to see. Okay, because other than that, they gonna lie and deny. You know how Lisa do. Okay, you know how Lisa do. They lying and deny. So of course they gonna change the subject. Whitney said, "Bronwyn, you're not wearing your wedding ring." So then they go on to Bronwyn saying that Bronwyn was looking at some other lady on the flight, And when she confronted him about it, he got defensive. And so she said, "You gotta go. You gotta stay somewhere else for the night." So Heather was like, "Well, do you want time, or are you done?" And I think Bronwyn likes her life. I think Bronwyn likes her life. He just showers her with gifts, whatever she wants to do, and all that other stuff. And so I think what she wants is like a kind of arrangement. But Todd maybe talk about it off camera, but Todd's show ain't gonna talk about it on camera. But I think she wants some type of arrangement because she like her life. So she ain't trying to divorce him because she ain't gonna get too much except for a little spousal support. She ain't got no kids with him, and if he do have kids, the kid is grown anyway, so she ain't gonna get nothing. So I think she like her life. She just wants to know if you know if he does something, I need to get some kind of arrangement so she can say, yes, Todd was looking at so and so. He was out of dinner with so and so because we have an open marriage, or I already know about this lady, or whatever. That's what Bronwyn want. Okay, that's what Bronwyn want because she like her life. She like her life. So and I'm not mad at it. If she like it, she like it. She just want to know what what's the deal, because it's kind of embarrassing for her. Yeah, she like her life. I ain't mad at it. He don't physically abuse her. Sometimes he verbally abuse her, but he don't physically. He don't put he don't put his hands on you. And apparently he don't abuse her financially because she can buy whatever the hell she want. So she seemed like she got a good deal in there. So I don't blame her. But Bronwyn says, what embarrasses me is the humiliation and the secrecy around it. Things have to change because we don't have an agreement of any kind. Yeah. I think all she wants is agreement. Is y'all can see other people or whatever. Mary and Rob visited her church. They're opening it like on Sunday or whatever, and so they go visit it, and so she's still looking for anything wrong, like she did when she had that purple dress on and that purple Birkin and them Louis Vuitton glasses. She was setting it off around there, setting it off. Lord have mercy. Rob said they talked in the back, and Rob said in Malibu they had a Alcoholics Anonymous. They had the AA meetings, and they said you need to find a higher power. And Rob said, I know my higher power. And so, but he said all his friends relapsed after they got out of rehab. All of them relapsed. And so Mary was like, well, it seems like Rob relapsed too. Rob relapsed too. Far as I'm concerned, he relapsed too. Because if he getting high, he relapsed. I don't care what he getting high off of, alcohol, weed, or whatever. He relapsed too. But anyway, Mary said, well, did you tell him to pray? And so Rob was like, I just don't like forcing, things down their throat. And Mary was like, well, with God, nothing is impossible. And that's the truth. But Rob relapsed too. And they're going to have to. Apparently, he was arrested last week or something like that for breaking into his ex-wife's house. And I think the mom called the police and things like that. And so he got arrested. And I think he was still he still was in jail while Mary was at BravoCon. I don't think she ran down there to get him out of jail. I think maybe that's the place for him. You know, I don't know. I don't know, Mary. I'm praying for you and Robert Jr. You know, because I can't. I got a son too, and I can't. I understand how you feel a little bit, okay? But my son has never been on drugs and things like that, so but I pray for you, babe. I pray for you. Anyway, Lisa and John meet up and talk in a restaurant. Now, I do feel sorry for Lisa in this conversation. So, she said that Lisa said Jack is coming back, and yeah, Jack is coming back. Okay, yeah, Jack's coming back, and so they need to see that the dynamic with him and Henry. And so John was like, it was probably be like it will probably be like it was before they left. And apparently, I guess it was kind of like contentious before they left, because I guess Jack didn't know how to be a big brother. I don't know. John was saying that, it was kind of contentious when he left. Hopefully, the retreat, or what they call them things, not the retreat. Dang, I don't know. Whatever the mission. Hopefully he learned the stuff, about being godly and things like that during his mission, and so he can come back with a different mindset. Okay. Because that's the purpose of him going to the mission, ain't that? I thought that was the purpose of him going to the mission. Okay, so hopefully he come back with a different mindset. We will know. So Lisa, changes the subject. She was like, "You irritated me the other day when I was talking to Henry," and John said, "Well, no, I was talking to Henry about my thoughts." John said, "Your thoughts, or are you telling Henry how to think?" And it could be both. Being a boy mom, it could be both. You're telling him your thoughts about how he should do better in school, and so then you have to tell him how he can do better. Okay, so it could be both. It could be, you teaching him, like, okay, son, I don't like, what you did in this class. How you could be better is, yeah. So it could be both. It could be both. So I could be teaching my son how to think. I had to teach my son how to study. I had to teach a lot of the stuff to my son. Okay. I had to teach, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to prioritize, you got to do everything. So I don't understand where you talking about, John. I understand about Lisa, as she's a bit controlling. So I understand that, and I think you're a little defensive too. Okay, I think you're very defensive too, and I did feel sorry for Lisa, and Lisa is one of my least favorites, but I did feel sorry for her. So then Lisa was like, I was telling my thoughts, but you said I should say it like this, and that bugged me. Yeah, that would bug me too. And Lisa in the confessional saying, I'm a mom. I don't want to be corrected to how I speak to Henry. I get you, girl. I get you. I don't want to be corrected on how I speak to my child either. Okay. Okay. You speak to your son how you want to speak to your son. I speak to my son how I want to speak to my son. Okay? And never the two shall mix. Okay? I'm with you. I don't want to be corrected because then she said when Lisa said when you say say something say it differently, then Henry co-signed it, so that undermines me. I get it. I get it. I I totally agree with you on this, Lisa. I totally agree with you. And John, you you are very defensive. You are projecting a lot. Okay. I don't like you, John. I don't like you. But John said you are always saying how you feel though. Um and this is how I feel. And then he says the only thing we talk about is business. So I get it, John, if that's the only thing y'all talk about. But y'all talk about y'all kids, obviously. But apparently he want to talk about something else other than business. Because I understand John on this one. Because Lisa is very business minded and John not so much. So when they talk, either they talk about the kids or they talking about business. They ain't talking about nothing else. And so I get it on that side too, John. You want to talk about something else other than business and other than your kids, but you need to not be correcting your wife on how she speaks to her children, okay? Because she is a mom, okay? She's not going to talk to her kids like you talk to your kids because you the dad, okay? She got to nurture, okay? You gotta make a man. They make a man, make a man, make a man. Yeah, but she gotta be the nurturing side. Okay, you know. And so just because she says, "Okay, son, we need to do it like this and stuff like that," and then you over here talking about you don't need to talk to him like that. You need to do this. You need to do that. Nah, shut your ass up. Okay. Okay. She the nurturer. Leave her alone. But I do see that y'all do need to do some more communicating other than business and the kids. And so Lisa was like, "Well, do you feel like that for real? We only talk about business?" And so John was like, "Well, how can you not feel the same?" So of course she crying again, and I'm not going to play "Stop Crying, Bitch" because that's usually what I say. I play when she start crying, but I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna. I'm gonna leave her alone because she crying, and she hurt, and I ain't gonna. I'm gonna leave you alone because usually you cry for no reason at all. You just crying so people feel sorry for you, and so you can get out this conversation. Because when the heat get hot in the kitchen, you start crying. No, but I'm gonna leave you alone because your feelings are hurt. And so that's what she said. That hurts my feeling. We are both not seeing each other right now, and so John said we have to communicate better right now. Okay, moving on. Britni and Jared. Jared says, what? Jared. Okay, he upset, because Britni. Okay, so here's the thing: Jared and Britni meet up. Britni wants to talk about the flight incident. She wants Jared to be nurturing and everything like that about what she experienced on the flight. Okay, with Meredith and Lisa harassing her for 15 hours. Okay, Jared said that Justin told him that she was flirting with everybody the on the boat. What? What?
Hell no.
Okay.
What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
Okay, she wants some sympathy for her crime. I mean, for her experience. And he want to talk about how she flirted with everybody on the thing, on the boat. And then Britni was like, well, we were on a break. And so they talk about some most stupid shit. I don't really care about Jared. Okay, so I barely listen to it. I almost fast forward through it. But I feel sorry for Britni on this one too. And so basically, Britni said, I'm starting my 30 days now. And she walk away. Okay, she give her a coat. She walk away. Okay, but then he hugged her up in the front. I don't really care about them. Okay, I think Jared just wants to be on TV. Okay. Bronwyn and Todd is talking in this Alice in Wonderland house. Okay. Okay. She's saying the things that are on the things that were on Twitter. She said, I feel like I'm not good enough. Okay. And if you wanted to do something else or have an arrangement, I will consider it. Okay. She said, whatever you needed, I will do to evolve with you. And so Todd was like, I was wrong. I'm very happy being with you in this relationship we had. Bronwyn, come here, baby. You should have left it at that. You should have been like, thank you, boo. Kissed him and went on about your business. No, you did not. Okay, so Bronwyn says, well, there's no shame or weirdness in figuring out our sex life. Okay, leave it alone. Boo, shut up. Shut it up. Shut up. Okay. And so Todd was like, yeah, that's understandable. I understand. Now,
Stop it. Get some help.
all right. Okay. Okay. This is what you needed to do.
Shut up, bitch.
Okay, that's what you needed to do. Shut up, bitch. Okay. However, you gonna say, I had a good conversation with Whitney.
No, God. No, God, please, no. 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 No.
Bronwyn, you know he don't want none of his business on TV. You know that. You know he don't want his business on TV. And so when you say you talk to Whitney, so he know his business is on TV. Okay, you should have shut up, bitch. You should have shut the fuck up. Okay. Todd said it's nobody's business. And I don't understand why you have to share our business with this group of untrustworthy friends. Okay? He don't like y'all. He don't like them. He don't like them. So why did you say you should have stopped at that's understandable? I understand. And you should have never brought up Whitney. But no, you did. So, Bronwyn was like, I don't like when you say that. Todd was like, we talked about it, we resolved it, we gonna move on, okay? And no other conversation should be had, okay, especially on camera, okay? Y'all can have that conversation off camera. Y'all can come to a conclusion. Y'all can come to y'all open marriage or whatever. But don't do this shit on camera. Okay. Mary invites all the ladies except Britni to service on Sunday. All right. So the door is locked. Okay. Robert Jr. didn't come because he was high. Okay. So Bronwyn, bad weather, Heather and Whitney, they come and they driving to the church. And Whitney said, the church is not a quiet church. Church is up and yelling and screaming and, praising the Lord and all that other stuff. And then she said, and then Mary will do the service because Heather has never been to Mary's church. And so she was like, well, does Mary sing? And she was like, no, Mary will do the service. So Whitney said, and she said, well, I don't know if Lisa and Meredith, she invited Lisa and Meredith, but when they walk in the church, it'd be she said it'd be two whores burning. And then she gonna say, whores burn in church, don't they? I was like, I don't know. She was just like, She said, I remember the saying, like, no one sweats in church like the whores burning in church or something like that. I think the saying was, she sweated like a whore in church or something like that. But Whitney had it all wrong, but it was funny though. So then Bronwyn comes, she dressed like she going to a carnival. I love Bronwyn though, but she dressed like she going to a carnival. Then they meet Angie. Angie know all Mary's family because she was like, hey, Aunt Debbie, hey. They giving her hugs and stuff. So Angie know all Mary's family. So then Lisa and and then Lisa and Meredith show up, but they sit on the other side. But Whitney asked, she was like, I think Heather asked, you got a boot on your foot. She was like, how you get that boot on your foot? Kicking Britni? I said, ooh. That's terrible. That is terrible. Okay. And so then Lisa was like, I've never touched Britni. Yeah, okay. I've never touched her. So Mary, they go in, like I said, Lisa and Meredith sitting on one side of the church and everybody else sitting on the other side of the church. Mary preaches. She calls out all the cast, Heather, Whitney, and she telling them, Heather, you gonna do this, you gonna do that. Whitney, you gonna be this, you gonna be that. She calls out everybody in the church, and then and she says blessings to them, and then so she said. Then Lisa in the confessional, she was like, she said, I donate, to the Church of God and all that other stuff. She was like, sometimes I donate to the Church of Satan too. And I was just like, I donate to the Church of Satan too. And so then she's like, she said she was hot in the church. She had her fan going. She said she was hot. And I said, that's why you're going to burst in the flame. You're going to die heat stroke and bust in the flames. And then Whitney said, well, she said, well, two whores are sweating in church, and they panned over to Meredith and Lisa, the two whores that sweating in church, okay? Because apparently wasn't nobody else sweating but them two. I don't know. I have no idea. But Lisa said that she was hot and she was going to burst into flame. So at least one whore is sweating in church, okay? But she said she donate to the Church of Satan because, you know, they because when they drinking and stuff like that, they donate to the Church of Satan. I don't agree with that, and that's her and her church, and that's her Church of Satan. I ain't got nothing to do with that. But that was the end of the episode. Give me a thumbs up, like and share and comment and subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.